All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 WCS TvP. I actually just finished casting up, just finished up casting a very good one, Time versus Mana, which I really enjoyed commentating. And so I figured, you know what? Let's just jump right on into the next one here. So, gonna be having ourselves another WCS Foreigner TvP, European TvP, aka Terran versus Protoss. So, spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, we've got Harstem, the captain. Harstem, Protoss player from the Netherlands, very, very good, and always fun to watch, always fun to see at streams and on tournaments and everything. He's like a ball of energy and everything. And then his opponent, in the bottom right-hand side of the map, the up-and-coming Terran player, it's Clem. And I mean, Clem, he's been an up-and-coming Terran player for a while, but he is still up-and-coming. He's getting better at results every single tournament that he plays in, it would seem. So, very, very good. Very, very young, and shows a lot of promise in StarCraft 2. Now, the question is, can he handle the captain? That is the question. Harstem, very, very good Protoss player, and very fun to watch. And Harstem's one of the best Protoss players, best foreign players, best StarCraft players, as a matter of fact, when it comes to describing how he plays and analyzing the game on stream and everything. He just has a very good way of speaking and everything, and he also streams and whatnot. So I also want to say Harstem on Team Asterion, and Clem on Team Infinity Gaming. Clem's been on Infinity Gaming for a while now. Opens up with a Marine, shuts down Harstem's probe. Clem didn't go for a Reaper as usual. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I'm casting another big best of 5 TvP here, so if you enjoy this kind of commentary, for starters, make sure to press that like button. And I was looking at my analytics, and apparently YouTube even tells me how many people hit that bell notification to get, or bell icon to get notifications whenever I upload or anything like that. And apparently we can be doing a little better on that. So if you do enjoy the content and you want to know as soon as I put up a video, that bell icon is honestly the best way to press it. You'll get a notification when I put up a video, and that's pretty often. So you'll be like, oh, StarCraft. Then a little bit later, you'll be like, oh, more StarCraft. A nice daily fix almost. And so yeah, feel free to do that. And then of course, if you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe in the first place. I'm on a big YouTube drive at the moment. So if you're enjoying these games, let me know by subscribing or smashing that like button. Anyway, I mean, just my usual spiel at the start and end of a video or between games or whatever, because StarCraft 2 takes a little bit of time to heat on up. So here we go. We've got a Stargate on the way for Harstem, just finishing up. I do love the Stargate openings. I just finished commentating Clem versus Mana, or no, Time versus Mana, pardon me. And that was a bit of an interesting TvP. I really liked the sort of styles I saw, even if the games, or spoilers alert, if you haven't already watched that series, for starters, you should. And secondly, I don't blame you if you didn't, because I'm putting out these videos pretty close together. There's only so much time in a day to watch StarCraft, but I do recommend you go check out that series. But yeah, as I was saying, I enjoyed watching the TvP. It's been a while since I've seen such a sort of style of TvP. And that's why I'm excited to have Harstem in this match. He's sort of like a Protoss player, I'd say, almost of the same grain as Mana, in which he's a little bit unique with how he plays. He sort of finds his groove and then sticks in it. In comes his Oracle, by the way. It's going to nab up 2 SCVs. Is it going to get a third? Ooh, that is nice for Harstem. I mean, Oracles in TvP, they aren't necessarily seen as like a massive component anymore compared to what they used to be. But getting in there, 3 kills and just sliding out, just very, very easily, no damage or anything like that. Not a big deal. Very nice for Harstem. Just like if you start off a TvP with 3 kills, no damage on your Oracle, you're a pretty happy camper. Now Harstem, he's going for a second Oracle here, and then following it up with a Phoenix. The Phoenix could be very handy here because there's about to be a Widowmine drop incoming for Clem, and Widowmine dropped nasty at any point in the game. Meanwhile, the Oracles, by the way, coming in, frying up some Marines, but the Mine drop is also going off, so the Oracles are clearing on out, but the Widowmines are burrowing. There they go, shots going off, but Harstem, amazing probe split. Clem, though, look at that. Burrowing and unburrowing one of those mines. Just hoping to get another shot, but he doesn't get that. Oh, looks like he is going to lose that medivac. That Phoenix, you got to kill that medivac. Phoenix, get it, the Medivac runs out of gas, and the Phoenix does pick it off. There we go. And the Oracles, by the way, just killing off those Widowmines there. Looks like one of the Oracles did die, as a matter of fact, but still 6 SCVs have gone down. The mine drop was defended with relative ease, and Harstem's on his way towards his 3rd base. Now, we can't ignore what Clem is doing, though. He's powering up. He is getting up his 3rd racks. He's already on 2, so he's going to have a bit of a nice time stim. He's getting up his starport reactor, then getting up a reactor on his factory. So we're probably going to be seeing one of them bio-mine skulls. 2 Phoenix coming in for Harstem, by the way. One of the Phoenix gets locked on by the Cyclone. The other's like, I got you, fam. I'm just going to do some heavy lifting, lift up that Cyclone there. But yeah, as far as this game goes, I'm pretty happy for Harstem here, or I'm Harstem. For starters, I'm pretty happy because he's really good at Starcraft, and that would make me better at Starcraft. But he's very happy this game, probably, just because the way that it's gone, defending the Terran early aggression, seeing what your opponent's up to, and then you're on the map Thunderbird, so it's a rather realistic map to defend. It's rather easy to do, so your opponent can really only do a ground push from one location, unless they say bring 2 SCVs with them, but realistically no one ever does that, because if they just bring 2 SCVs, they can only push through a tiny choke point. And then we also see, the Cycle locks onto the Oracle, gets the Oracle, which is nice. Not having to worry about that. Harstem's going to be kicking himself a little bit about losing that. Now we see Clemmy's going for a bit of a double Medivac drop, unloading at the 3rd base. Harstem isn't in a position to deal with this, though. Guardian Shield gets activated, and while the Bio does have stim, it doesn't have combat shield or anything like that. Harstem, though, he is pushing in towards the natural, picking off a couple of shield batteries, but they're doing their job being defensive. This one Big Daddy Immortal popped out here, popping off Marauders. This one Cyclone might get him, though. No, the Immortal just kills everything. He is Immortal after all this drop. He continues on into the main base, though, but nothing really major happening so far. Harstem, he's trying to get these Medivacs. Oh, he almost gets one of them. That one Medivac peeled off and is very injured. It's going to have a bad time, I feel. Nope. Very, very lucky Medivac. And now we take a look here. This game's just unfolding. Clem getting his 3rd CC on location, but it's still pretty delayed. So Harstem's sitting pretty happy as I mean, he's got quite the economic lead. Harstem, or Clem pushes on in, picks off one of the Immortals, which is very nice. There isn't charge or anything really for the Protoss game. If we actually take a look at this, this is actually really impressive how Harstem's making this defense right now. He doesn't have charge. He doesn't have blink. He doesn't have anything. He's just getting up his robo. This is actually crazy how long Harstem has stayed just on ground units. Like, he can't blink his stalkers. He doesn't have charge lots just yet. And he's just hanging out, just defending what Clem throws at him, using the very natural defenses on Thunderbird and doing well with it. Like, his positioning just has been pretty darn good so far, responding to everything that the Terran throws at him. We are going to see a mine drop, though, with the natural of the Protoss, but Harstem quick to react. And he's also just finished up his plus 1-1, so he's got nice upgrades going for him. Widowmine drop at the 3rd base of the Protoss, but the probes already ran away. This Widowmine going to be a bit of a pain, but it is going to go down, not get anything done there. How about this one in the main base? Oh, we're going to kill a Zealot, that's it. The mine does get out, which is nice. Meanwhile, there's another Medivac hanging out, so Clem really putting the pressure on his opponent. But as far as things go for Harstem, I'm pretty happy still. I mean, it's a little bit concerning that he's just getting up into Colossus Tech now. It's a little bit later, but if he can defend this attack here, then I think he's going to be doing pretty well. But he's got to start defending. He's kind of out of position now. He's got units coming from his 3rd base. He does have the charge, though, which is really going to help him out. And he's thinking of trying to push Clem back. 2 Liberators coming on in, though, and some Widowmines getting kind of underneath. That could make this problematic for the Protoss Clem. Just wants to rally reinforcements across the map. This is a very good spot on Thunderbird here to attack into your opponent. I mean, the Stalkers, they don't have blink, so they can't blink underneath these Liberators. The Bio can put out a lot of damage onto them, and Harstem puts this back. I mean, he's trading out a lot. He's going to lose his Immortal there, and oh, this is looking pretty good for Clem here. The Liberator's got a lot of damage done. Is he going to be able to keep this push going? He's up on supply for now. Harstem's got out a Colossus, can he push back? The Terran picks off a Widowmine before it gets its shot off. That is nice, but this is still a little bit concerning here for the Protoss. Harstem, he's just trying to buy time so he can get up his 2-2 upgrades, get up a few more Colossus and extended Thermalance. That being said, though, he's still in a pretty good spot. Clem, it's a long way for his reinforcements to get across the map here, so he can't really use his superior army supply for now. It's going to take him a minute. Harstem's warped in some more zealots to buffer for his army, and once he has his 2-2, this is going to be so important for the Protoss, because Clem, well, who's going for a mine drop right now that just gets shut down, he's going to be up 2 upgrades versus his opponent, and that is going to be absolutely massive for the Protoss. The zealots just don't die. Everything deals way more damage. The Colossus especially with their AoE. And oh, look at this for Harstem. I mean, he's going for a zealot counterattack, and this third base of Clem is ripe for the picking. 4 zealots unloading there. SCT's getting pulled. They're running for now. The Liberator's going to try and help out, but there's definitely going to be casualties here for the Terran player. I mean, looks like everything will be cleaned out. Harstem actually worked in 3 Stalkers and 3 Zealots, which is kind of interesting. The Stalkers can work away on the Liberators, and they actually can't do that. So this harassment being a very big nuisance for Clem. I think it is going to get cleaned up with relative ease, but still, 6 SCVs go down, and the entire Terran army was pulled back. We take a look here. Harstem, he's getting up a 4th base while this is going on, getting out a Colossus. He's getting his +3 armor on the way, and we take a look at this. The Terran hasn't even started an armory, or okay, never mind. He's got an armory. He hasn't even started his 2-2. There we go. Clem starts his armor. There's no +2 attack just yet, so this Protoss is potentially going to be ahead 2 sets of upgrades in the future here. And so the only thing that Harstem really needs to worry about this game is if Clem builds up, say, like a good Viking count that goes for a nice timing. But the Protoss, he's getting up a Templar Archives for Psystorm, even for Archons at high upgrades. This is still going to be pretty tough for Clem to make anything happen. I mean, I definitely believe that he can, but Harstem, who made another Oracle, by the way, just his eyes on this army, he's got a Colossus Sentries and a ton of Chargons. He's got a nice upgrade lead right now. These Zealots are simply not dying to this Terran army. Look at this. They just survived so long. Now, Harstem needs to be careful not to lose all of his Colossus, but he's still got 4. He's got Archons moving forward to be a buffer. Clem's got himself a pretty good concave, but just even a couple more Zealots coming on and buys so much of the bio's time that the Protoss is doing pretty well. But then we take a look at this. Protoss behold, Harstem retreats to a shield battery. However, he is able to rout Clem there. We've got 5 Stalkers out for Harstem and 1 Colossus and 1 Zealot. That's not a lot, but it is enough to push the Terran back. The Vikings, I mean, they cleaned out most of the Colossus there, but Harstem did hold for now. If I'm Harstem, though, you got to be panicking as the Protoss. This is a time which it's important to make sure that you're getting up all your warpins right away. The second that these gateways that he has are off cooldown, like, Harstem just needs to be going for, everything that he can, like warping in Zealots whenever. You got to be spending your money as soon as you can. Otherwise, the Terran might just come in with another attack and it will be lethal. For now, though, we take a look here. Harstem is cruising towards his 3-3. His Colossus will deal so much damage versus the Terran. His Zealots will live basically forever. That being said, though, Clem is getting towards his own 2-2, so realistically, I mean, the upgrades are still going to be pretty darn equal. Psystorm on the way for Harstem. He's getting up another Warp Prism. Get up some High Templar. Clem, though, he is getting up into Ghosts, and I mean, one thing to point out for Clem is that his economy is very, very good. I mean, he's not like sitting at a super macro position or anything like that, but his economy definitely has the makings to be. I mean, he's got 4 bases. He's tied with workers as a Protoss. That doesn't include mules, ladies and gentlemen, so let's see if Harstem is able to make something happen here. Him pushing out on the map is a little bold, I feel, even with Psystorm, because Ghosts are out. They're going to have that enhanced Shockwave, and Liberators are starting to build up for Clem. So while Clem hasn't gotten a ton done in this game, he's still maintaining a supply lead. He's still doing okay for himself just through his pure macro alone, and just not letting this lead slip away from his hands. I wouldn't mind a drop or something for Clem now that Harstem is throwing up a 5th base, but Harstem is in a pretty good defensive position. Clem's looking to perhaps move forward. He's got a Ghost or 2 in the front, looking for these Zealots and whatnot. We'll see if EMPs are going to be able to land, though. That's the most important part. And I mean, Harstem's army is pretty clumped up right now. All it takes is a few critical EMPs from Clem. 1 EMP lands, 1 Psystorm gets called, and so far no massive connections on either side. The High Templar split up for Harstem for now, calling in another storm, but they haven't got a lot done. There's 2 more High Templar in the back. Do they have energy? Yes, they do. But I still feel for Clem that this is an okay position right now. If he can make this attack, if he can get on in here, this attack can just kill his opponent here. Harstem doesn't have that much standing for him. Not a lot of Zealots in this army. The Liberators are kiting back instead of setting up, but look at that. All the Vikings are suddenly gone. But look at this, though. The Zealots are just so tanky with their upgrade advantage that Clem is kiting and kiting and kiting, and he's just got to go wee all the way home here. What a fantastic just a display of how important upgrades are for the Protoss. Harstem, like, his army does not look that good right now. I mean, he's got a few High Templar, yes, but Clem has Ghosts. And generally on paper, when it's just like that, that goes well for the Terran, but the upgrades for Harstem are so important here. And Clem has yet to start his 3-3. I mean, if they were equal on upgrades, that would make a pretty big difference. Clem also has a very high Marauder count, which means that the Marauders don't actually do that much versus the Zealots, so that really helps them out. And oh, look at this. Is Harstem thinking of going for an attack? That's a very bold move. But look at this. Clem, Liberator harassment queued on up, but Harstem going to defend that one in the main base so far. There's no advanced ballistics, so this Liberator does go down. And then there's another Liberator heading towards the 5th base. There is a 5th base built, and Clem knows about this. So he's focusing on that. But oh, look at this. Harstem going for some of his own harassment. Both these guys doing a good job defending so far. That Warp Prison is going to go down, and the Zealots will be cleaned on up. So very good defense from both players. I mean, as I say that, though, Harstem is losing a few probes to this Liberator. Nothing that's like the critical level, but you got to deal with this sooner rather than later if you're Harstem. Look at this. This Liberator just going to try and kill off any last workers it can get, instead of just takes its anger out by shooting the Stalker. Meanwhile, though, there's an engagement going on in front. Psystorm being dropped here. Vikings stepping forward, but there's nothing for them to really focus on. They can maybe zone out the Prism. Is there High Templar in the Prism? Yes, there is, and 2 Psystorms drop down from those, and the army of Clem is suddenly very bruised up. Clem's looking to push, and then another EMP Lambs for Clem. They're pretty darn good. However, his bio is very red due to that Psystorm, due to the stim. However, he is standing strong on top of this hill. Another EMP lands there for the Terran player. Gonna focus down the Archon. Zealots and Stalkers kiting back and forward. I mean, Harstem just has to retreat. He's got shield batteries he can retreat to, more Warpins he can retreat to, and Clem needs just a minute as well, though, just to heal up his bio. Like, he's fighting with half of an army right now, in the sense that his bio is so red. Another Liberator being queued on up is fantastic here, by the way, for Harstem, or for Clem. Just gonna start working away on those probes. Gets at least a few of them. Good to see that Clem is still thinking about those fast-paced moves. Meanwhile, an EMP potentially going off there. It hits a High Templar. Is there Psystorm in these other two? There's not Psystorm just yet, but there will be in a second here. So that dance is going to continue of, you got to avoid the Psystorm for the Terran. The Stalkers moving forward into Clem's army, though, and I mean, the Marauders, while they're down on upgrades, do shred through Stalkers still. Clem up on supply. It seems like he's just had a 20 supply lead this entire game. I mean, it's kind of narrowing, kind of not. I mean, still, Clem with a significant supply lead here, but still, he hasn't been able to make anything happen with it yet. And more Psystorms landing on this. And suddenly we take a look at the Terran ground army. There is not that much here for Clem. Liberator sieging on up. Harstem's starting to look a little bit thin here. Liberator shooting away on some of these Stalkers, but they do all go down there. And Clem gets retreated once again. This TvP is non-ending. This is such a wild ride here. We take a look, though. Clem, he's getting up a 6th base, getting up a 7th base. Bases for days. That's more than the Protoss there. And that's actually a 5th and a 6th base. Harstem is on 5 bases, too. Clem with another orbital, though. I mean, Harstem's thinking of pushing on in, but I mean, neither of these guys have really managed to get a definitive blow versus each other. This could be it, though, for Harstem. I mean, he just has the one Colossus and some Archons, so while there's a Planetary here, I don't think he can really push into his opponent. Liberator is getting set up for Clem is, I think, going to make this a no-go zone. As long as Clem doesn't eat, like, a terrible Psystorm or anything, I think he should be able to hold, but oh, we take a look. There's now 3 Colossus for Harstem. There's a good EMP there for Clem. He's kiting back with his bow, but it is very red. A Liberator shuffling forward. It's not helping in the fight right now. It's getting reset on up, but no, the Liberators are enough to repel the Protoss for now. Clem needs to just be making everything that he can. Get out Marines, Marauders, Medivacs, you name it. He is also getting towards his 3-3 upgrades. Keep in mind, Clem's been fighting just at a deficit this entire game as far as the upgrades are concerned. Oh, if he can land an EMP on these High Templar, though, That would be absolutely massive for the Terran. Like, oh, could this be the EMP? Like, there could be an EMP coming out here that's going to be huge. Okay, Harstem pulls the High Templar back. They're still all clumped up, though, which makes me a little nervous. And oh, there's Zealot Warpins into the main base of Clem. This is where it gets real tough for the Terran. And Clem's actually pulling everything back. This could be Harstem's moment to go on in. Clem pulls back some of his bio to sit under these Liberators, but he's very, very split up right now. Is Harstem going to go for it? Yes, he is. He blinks underneath. Clem's trying to hold on, but he's literally split in two right now. I mean, the remainder of his bio has to come on in, and he's up on supply. I mean, he's going back and forth, actually, but Clem is now down on supply. I mean, redact that statement there as Harstem's pushing on in. The Liberators doing everything they can, but a beautiful move from Harstem. That was all it took to split Clem in two here. He's pushing on in, and that's going to be GG as Harstem takes game number 1 in this TvP. What an insane match. Match number 1. Keep in mind, this is another of these best of 5, so there's going to be at least 2 more matches here in this best of 5, and we'll see if Harstem is able to close it through. I really, really liked his TvP there. I can't necessarily pin down why he was down on supply for a large portion of that game. Maybe besides the fact that he, say, had just had like late Psystorm or late Colossus or something like that, but still, I feel like that was a pretty good showing from Harstem there. The upgrades alone were probably what gave him that game, though. All right, let's load on into the next game here. Clem versus Harstem, map number 2. What a fantastic TvP. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this commentary, make sure to press that like button right now. If you're going to watch the next game, you may as well slap that like button. Let's try and break 20 likes on this video. Just having a drink there, try and help the old voice out a little bit. Here we are, though. That's the correct score. Spawning in the top left-hand side of the map, playing for Asterion Esports, it's Harstem. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Clem, playing for Infinity. Or did they rebrand to Exceed? Okay, Infinity Gaming. Infinity Gaming, quite a very good team, by the way. They've got Clem, who's very... Okay, Infinity Gaming is the underrated team. I'm gonna say it. They've got Clem, one of the top Terran players. Not a name brand, though, in a sense. He still has yet to have his really good showing. And then there's Denver, who's a top European Zerg. Has yet to have his, like, really good showing, but he routinely makes, like, top 16. And then there is Goblin, who actually made a top 8. And then there's also Namshar and Future. Like, both all incredibly good players. So yeah, let's just take a look at this game here. I mean, pretty standard stuff. Asterion, by the way, I also want to say his Sue for Harstem. I'm a big fan of keeping up to date on Starcraft 2 teams. Like, it's cool to see who's playing for what. We are at a time... Okay, Sue was formerly on Asterion. And now he's on Shiva. Yeah, so it's cool to see how many players are supported by teams and stuff. Starcraft's alive and well in this day and age, which is great to see. Now, SCB moving across the map for Clem, just going for a scout. A little bit of a late one, but I guess basically just confirming that the Protoss isn't going to cheese the bejeebus out of you. Meanwhile, Harstem sending out a later probe. I'm pretty sure this is just going to be rallied. Oh, maybe it is for something dirty. I was saying it's just going to be rallied toward the Terran base just to confirm everything's normal too. But, it could be for something a little bit dirty. Alright. Reaper shooing that Adept away. And oh, Harstem's going for some... This is a dark shrine if I've ever seen one. This is a dirty, dirty dark shrine. Look at that. There's that dark shrine. Harstem. A dirty, dirty Protoss. Adept gonna try and shoo away that Reaper. Clem's like, let me in, let me in. Now, for those of you unaware, you can tell when a building is researched, so it's important that Clem, or that Harstem doesn't let Clem's Reaper see this Twilight, otherwise he'll be like, oh, it's a Dark Shrine. Oh, and look at this, Harstem even going for another proxy pylon, closer to his opponent's base, but oh, Clem has Star Sense. He sees how much Harstem is trying to shut down his vision, and he's like, oh, I'm building an eBay. I'm building an eBay, I don't care. They said I was crazy. But Clem's right. Doomsday is coming, so it's a good thing he built that bunker out of old scrap metal and 20-year-old MREs in his backyard, because Clem's prepared. He is prepared for the dirty, dirty Templar, in a sense. I mean, he's got the eBay. Does he have the scans, though? 1 scan, a 2 scan. Clem should be good. 1 DT is going to run on in for Harstem. Now, we'll see if Clem identifies this right away. I mean, the Twilight's been seen, the Dark Templar has not, or, well, I mean, the Dark Shrine has, but the Dark Templar have. There's 1 scan going down. Oh, that other DT doesn't quite make it away. 2 scans have been burned. If you're Harstem, though, you might want to try and get in another DT, but no, Clem, beautifully done. Already just getting up his missile turrets, and just, like, instantaneously. Just instantaneously. Beautifully done. Well defended from Clem. And oh, look at this, a Widowmine drop going down on Harstem's side of the map. Harstem's got himself a very healthy probe count compared, or a worker count compared to Clem still. I mean, like a very, very reasonable lead. It is going to be concerning, the pace of his tech, though, seeing as how the DTs have been used on up. I mean, or the fact that he committed to the DTs and now he's going to be delayed on everything else. That's how it works in Starcraft. You can't just have more. You gotta give a little, and Harstem gave a little in the sense that he doesn't have a lot that's gonna stand up to this bio right now, except for the DTs. I want to say this. Harstem, warp in a DT. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna talk about one of the best things you can do as a Protoss, in my opinion. It's just, if your opponent is a Terran, and they're just gonna go out for an attack or whatever, and you see it's coming, and Harstem sees that this attack is coming, just warp in a DT and send it at the army. There's no Raven for Clem, and if you keep making him burn scans, it will be worth it for the Protoss. I think you should always warp in a DT and send it at the Terran, because best case or worst case scenario, your DT just dies to a scan. Usually it'll take down a Marine or something, or completely that's worst case scenario. Best case scenario, you'll completely turn the Terran around because they won't have any energy. And oh, Harstem, though, he's still going for a bit of harassment here. Just trying to use this Prism. Very well done. Gets 4 SCVs going. He looks to defend this attack that's coming his way. Where's the DTs warping in defensively, though? There definitely should be some of those. Stalkers and shield batteries are going to try and make the defense happen for now. Good blink for Harstem. This is actually looking like a pretty good defense for Harstem. I mean, this bio is not going to last forever, and it's actually very skinned already, so nice defense here from Harstem so far, but in the main base, Widowmine's going off. Only 5 probes going down, that's within the realm of acceptability for Harstem, as long as he keeps his third alive and doesn't take too much more damage. Because we take a look here, Clem's kind of committed here. He's just throwing up his 3rd base now, so not a bad spot here for Harstem. Supply, quite even in multiple senses here. Harstem, though, I mean, he got his +1 armor. He's making Immortals for now. I would like to see him trying to tech into some form of AoE, perhaps. I love the fact that he's warped in a DT. This is so smart as the Protoss. If you have DTs, always warp them in versus a Terran. The Terran will have to burn scans non-stop or make a Raven, and Clem hasn't made a Raven, so he can just be punished by this. And like DTs, they usually are. Oh man, see, this is just fantastic for Harstem. This is DT coming on in. It's going to make Clem burn a scan, then he's going to lift the DT away, probably. Scan going down in the middle of the map. We can take a look at Clem's command centers. He's having to bank up and not drop mules, which is hurting his income here. And then we see Harstem, he's just got up a good number of Zealots. No charge for the Zealots yet, which is a little bit concerning. However, we take a look at the Terran army, and there's really not that much. Meanwhile, this Prism still just being a huge pain. I mean, missile turrets defend, but they don't help with offensive, defensive defense. We're seeing a bit of an engagement go down. Slow Zealots run forward, take one to the team versus the Widowmines. Charge is not yet done for Harstem, which is kind of hurting him. The Zealots really are just glorified buffers at this point. So the Stalkers and Immortals really have to put out enough damage here. Stalkers working away on these Marine zones. The thing is, the numbers of units right now are small enough that the Stalkers and Immortals definitely stand up against the Bio. It's really only in the mass situations in which the Protoss really starts to fall off versus Bio units. And look at this, another TT warp piece for Harstem. I'm loving seeing this. Let's see, DT going on in, hit the army, just burn a scan. Okay, Clem's gonna scan. There we go. Like, yeah, he kills the DT, but it's probably worth it for Harstem to do that over and over again. It's keeping Clem's economy down. All right, now we take a look here. Zealots now have charge, so that's going to help out. Most of the Stalkers are out of position, though, for dealing with this. That's because there was harassment at the third base. Harstem taking a bit of a beating here, but he's got 3 Immortals still in this army. I think he should activate a Guardian Shielder. He's got a Sentry there, warping some more Zealots as soon as he can. And then I think he should still be able to hold this. I mean, the Liberators are a little bit concerning. Uses a Force Field there. Warps in another Sentry. Warps in the DT. There we go. Keep warping in the DTs, Harstem. Let's just see it. Keep him coming. And there we go. Harstem going into Disruptors, so not confident enough to start making Colossus or something. However, 1 or 2 Disruptors can be huge. Okay, 2-2 on the way here for Clem. So, I mean, Clem's going to have himself a potential upgrade lead later in this game. Harstem, though, playing the DTs and Disruptors, kind of the dirtiest unit composition that you can have as a Protoss. 4th base gets identified by Clem, which is nice for the Terran to know about that. Harstem's looking to push on in. Now, this could be a bit of an overcommitment here. Disruptor goes out, picks off 2 Widowmines. Yeah, this could definitely be an overstep here from Harstem. He's pushed out onto the map. Force Field's going to buy himself time to retreat. However, he's got critical units like Immortals in this army. Another Disruptor coming forward. And actually a recall for Harstem, realizing he's overcommitted. He's got a Disruptor wandering forward, though. You want to pull back with everything you can. And oh, look at this. Zealots and DTs into the Natural and the Terran. 8 SCVs going down. A very nice amount. This one Marine trying to be a hero killed this Protoss Nexus, but still, Harstem's harassment and everything is just looking very, very good this game. I want to see him keep warping in more and more DTs. Make Clem regret every second that he has not built a Raven yet. Now, Clem's getting into Ghosts, so the DTs will actually kind of fall off, because EMP cancels DTs, and EMP doesn't cost an arm and a leg for the Terran. But look at this, just a DT chilling at this tower. It's going to cost Clem a scan. Meanwhile, Harstem queuing up his Zealot run by towards the 3rd of the Terran. Wonderful, wonderful play here. I mean, they still getting bogged up a little bit here, but they can definitely get on top of those SCVs, start killing them. Harstem taking an engagement at the top of this ramp. He's now made a Colossus. He's got a Disruptor in this army still, and that basically forces the Terran to hesitate way more than they'd like. Terrans, if they had their way, they just dive on top of their opponents all the time, and just basically just A-move skim, right? But the Disruptors, Colossus are there, and the Sentries are there to stop that from happening. Disruption doesn't build up. Tons of Widowmines get picked off there. Clem's starting to push forward, though. Harstem's army is wearing a little bit thin. The Colossus needs to put out as much damage as it can. A little shredding into the Marauders there. However, this Terran army is looking a little bit stronger. Oh, even a DT being warped in here for Harstem to help push the Terran away. He's down on supply, though, so he's got to be a little bit careful. The Terran army wants to drop. Where's he going? He's kind of multiple locations here. The 4th base under fire. I think the Zealots should get here in time to defend. There's no Stalkers, but actually, never mind. Yes, there is. They pick off one of those manufacturers. Are they going to get the second? Yes, they do. Now they're just going to help try and pick off these Marauders. So beautiful defense there from Harstem. That being said, though, he needs to keep raising his army supply. But, I mean, Clem's only on 3 bases, so Clem really needs to get something done, or eventually he's going to have to do the Terran float of shame with his command center. As I say that, though, he does start up a 4th command center. And oh man, I feel like this series, I'm just talking 1,000 miles a minute here. 1 DT gets picked off there at the tower. I mean, always worth it. Clem actually used a scan for that when he Could have EMP'd it, maybe. We take a look at this, though. I mean, this could be a bit tough for Harstem to defend at his fourth base. EMP goes down on the army. Disruption moment goes out. Only picks off like one Widow Mine there. More Widow Mines out there on the front. Harstem's actually just going to straight up abandon his base. There's a Liberator harassing his third base, though, so his economy's taking a fair bit of a hit. Nicely done by Clem. They're shutting down the fourth base of the Protoss. Harstem losing that, I mean, it hurts, but I don't think he really had any other choice. He's just got to build up his tech and everything. He's trying to get up his 3-2 or 2-3 for his upgrades. And Clem, he scans, realizing that Harstem's only on 3 bases, so he's kind of sitting pretty. Oh, look at this, though. Another DT working on in here for the Protoss. I love it. I love it. Every DT makes me smile. I mean, Snipe goes down, picks off the Zealot. Clem feeling pretty confident in that game, I feel. Disruption over goes out. Great split there from Clem. There's only the one disruptor, and he actually manages to pick it off. So all of a sudden, Harstem just as Colossus and mainly the Stalkers here. There's not a ton of a buffer for the Terran or for the Protoss. He does retreat to the shield batteries, though, helping kind of nullify that EMP, but he loses one of those critical Colossus. His main damage dealers. Stalkers working on the Liberator. Zealot's trying to buffer, but there's really not that much for the Protoss. This could be going sour for Harstem. There's the 3 panic DTs being warped on in here. I mean, these DTs are going to do work unless there's a scan, and there is a scan. Harstem's going to retreat. The shield battery is pretty much empty, though. The GG gets called. Clem takes it. I mean, Harstem losing that last Colossus lost its hope in that game. That was actually a very close PVT. I feel Harstem was in a pretty good spot most of that game, but then it just fell apart when he lost that fourth base. I guess he just didn't consolidate enough, really. And in the end, Clem was able to bully him over. I think the upgrades also really had an effect that game. I mean, Harstem was down on upgrades most of that game. And we saw game number 1 that Harstem won. He had the upgrade lead, so maybe there's a trend. And speaking of trends, let's make it a trend to press that like button as far as going between games here. So I'll load us on into the next game. You guys press that like button. Let's make that a deal. I hope it doesn't bother you guys that I'm just like, press that like button. But it actually does work reminding you guys. And basically, I've got nothing else to talk about as I'm waiting for a game to load. All right, World of Sleepers. I feel like it's going to be a bit more action-packed than something that's going to want to make us go to World of Sleep. In the bottom left, it's Clem. And in the top right-hand side of the map, it's Harstem. Both these guys, really, really great players. I kind of want to see Harstem have a really good result upcoming here soon. Is that wrong of me to say? That in, like, WCS, I'm going to cheer for someone like Harstem over Clem? As, Clem's kind of new. Harstem's been around, I think, a little bit long. I mean, he's definitely no, like, newbie to Starcraft or anything. But as far as, like, having good results in the pro scene, he's at the time which you're going to hit, like, top 16s a lot of the time, and he can do that a little bit longer, I feel. Whereas Harstem, I want to see him have his big run. It's been a while since we had, like, a year of Harstem or anything like that. Although I'm sure I would love to see Clem have a huge tournament result at some point. I think that could still be a ways away, though. But his improvement's very consistent. I think WCS 2020, which I think is pretty much confirmed to be happening at this point. I have no solid source on that, but IEM's kind of been confirmed. And I'm guessing that Blizzard's like, we may as well fund more WCS so then we can do more war chests and make more money, right? But all jokes aside, I mean, that's great that Blizzard keeps supporting StarCraft esports. And yeah, I think in WCS 2020, I'd love to see Harstem have a good result. Clem maybe make some top 8s and everything. But yeah, there's a few players I'd like to see have, like, good results in tournaments. Who's your favorite player? Ladies and gentlemen, tell me in the description, or if you're still watching at this point in the video, let me know who's your favorite StarCraft 2 player. I've got a couple. I've got a few. I think one of my favorites definitely Neeb, and maybe Soul, Euthermal. If you're like, why is Cyril not your favorite player? Why is Raynor not your favorite player? We see them a lot. I feel like that's kind of sad. And I like to cheer for the guys who are a little bit more outliers in tournaments and everything. Then, of course, there's the classic players. By the way, just while this game's heating on up, everyone, this is a pretty normal opening. Just while this game's heating on up, while this probe is running for his life, while the Reaper's trying to get his scout off, here's a bit of an announcement. It's already been, I already posted it on my channel, like in my community page, and on Twitter and everything. However, if you don't necessarily check those out, and when I say community page, I mean here on YouTube, but like as far as actually mentioning it in a video, show match upcoming Saturday morning Pacific time, sort of midday, evening, or late afternoon in Europe, and then evening in Korea. It's gonna be a Tasia versus Dongregu best of 7, and it's gonna be amazing. I just know it. It's gonna be fantastic. So check me out on Twitter. That's gonna be live streamed on Afrika. And that's just gonna be so fun to watch. So yeah, check that out. And then of course Afrika World on Sunday. So I'm still doing these live events and everything. All the VODs eventually make it to YouTube though. So if you're like, oh, I don't want to leave YouTube, don't fret. They'll eventually come, but a little bit later. Observer crossing the map. Adept. Chasing that Reaper away. Medivac on the way. Looks like Clem gonna be going for another Widowmine drop. Clem wants that scout. Reaper tosses the grenade, bounces the Adept. The Adept just out of position, so in goes Clem. Gonna get pretty much a full scout, sees the Twilight Council, runs behind the base. Is like, oh, there's a Robo, there's a 4, guy in a hat and camper, knowing that. Now, Clem, he was going for a Widowmine drop, and this could actually be good. I mean, Harstem should know this is coming, though, so he should be getting prepared for this. He's got the Adept, got the Stalkers moving into position, and this is where Clem's like, oh, why can't I get anything done in life? That's how it feels when you play versus Protoss, who's got observers on both sides of their base, which is exactly what Harstem has right now, where he's got a few observers out. 1, 2, there we go, 3. So he's got eyes on Clem. And if you're a Protoss, you can't really have enough observers. The only reason you're ever going to stop making them, really, is because you want to make something else out of your Robo, usually. But the vision that comes with observers is pretty great. Clem scans, picks off Harstem's observer. Harstem immediately makes another descend across the map. Oh, Clem wants this Medivac. It's definitely on hold position though. Oh, the Stalker. Oh, is Clem gonna lose it? Oh, the pilot of this Medivac is sweating right now as Harstem is trying to keep this this Medivac pinned. Meanwhile, he's sending 2 Zealots across the map though. Clem's coming on in for a push. This is a fair bit of bio, and what does Harstem really have? I mean, he's got an observer crossing the map, which is going to identify this, and knowing is half the battle. However, he's going to have to reposition his Zealots here. He should have charge, which is a big component for pushing away these kind of Terran attacks, like makes Zealots so much more useful. I mean, charge was about 5 seconds out. A few Stalkers coming on in, High Councilors coming on in. There's no Side Storm, and that could definitely be for feedback. The Widowmines get picked off. Now, Harstem has got a Guardian Shield, which is helping his unit stand strong. Fantastic kiting from Clem, though, chewing through these Zealots that the Protoss has. But, I mean, there's still not too much for the Terran to keep this going. Clem's going to need reinforcements. And, oh, Harstem was actually pulled out of position. No. Are these Widowmines? No. Okay, the answer is no, that they're going to get no damage really done. But still, fantastically done by Clem. Just like, yep, that Stalker's gone, in I go. Okay, that was making me a bit nervous there. Always be nervous around Widowmines. Is a pretty good life motto if you don't want to get hurt. Now, these Zealots do pick off those mines. Harstem just trying to hold on here. Supply quite even right now. Army supply in favor of Clem by just a bit, but that's kind of the nature of TvP. This one Immortal is really making me nervous for Harstem. Yeah, you gotta pull that guy back. I'd love to see a shield battery at this third for Harstem if he could get that. He's got Archons, which really benefit him though. Instead, Harstem just warping in a few more Zealots. Stalkers doing their best to work away on the bow. It really is Harstem showing us a ton of this charge lot Stalker composition. He hasn't really focused heavily on Colossus or say Sidestorm or Disruptors even in this series. They've really been sort of like an add-on, not something that he's really rushed towards. He's just been taking most of his fights with Zealots, with Stalkers, Archons, and Immortals, which definitely can work out right now. The Immortals will shred through these Marauders if they get face value or face time. Meanwhile, though, Harstem just trying to power on up. He's got his +1 armor heading to his +1 attack. So is Clem, though. Both players will be equal on upgrades. Clem getting up his extra gateways. This is where the Terran production's really going to kick on in before when you can really make a significant amount of stuff at the 5 barracks mark. If you're a Terran with 3, you're kind of like Terran light in a sense. You can make the bow, you can press all the fancy buttons and everything, but you can't do it too much. Zealot crossing the map, wanting to know where this Terran army is. I'm willing to bet for Harstem. Poor Zealot's gonna run into all those Terrans like, oh no, that ain't good. Meanwhile, Clemmy's actually queuing up. Oh, this is nasty from Clem right now. Queuing up double Liberator harassment while going for a push. Classic Starcraft 2 1-2 punch going out here. The Widowmines are getting good connections on the Zealots. Harstem has to work in another big round, and that's basically going to mean there's nothing to defend from these Liberators. One Stalker gets warped into the main base. Is there any at the third base? No, there is not. So Harstem really taking an economic hit right now. The Stalker will eventually clean up this Liberator, but it actually takes so long. The Probe's getting back to mining. There's a little bit of a dance there going on. Harstem is up to 3 Immortals, but oh, the kiting from Clem is so good. And Harstem, he loses 7 workers. This Liberator will be getting cleaned on up, I believe. Yeah, I think Harstem should be able to deal with that. I want to blink those Stalkers up there, maybe? He does have blink. Stalker's taking a long way around that Stalker. Takes out that Liberator in an epic battle. Harstem just trying to hold on, though, but I'm getting a little bit concerned here. The army supply's really fallen for him. That Liberator harassment was actually huge for Clem. It can't be overstated if we look at that income graph. That was most of Harstem's economy getting taken away from him for a little bit of time, and that sets you back significantly. So if you're Harstem right now, you just got to be doing everything perfect at this point. Instead, though, I mean, he's just warping in more Zealots, and I mean, while you can play well with Zealots and Stalkers, it's tough to play perfectly. Like, you can only get so much value out of them. It seems that every engagement you're taking some sort of a loss in all Clem. Going for a Liberator harassment, but Harstem, very nice cannon in position there, really saving him from another bout of Liberator harassment. The Stalkers and Immortals are trading out with these Marauders, and I don't know if the trade is actually going too well for the Protoss. Harstem is just trying to get whatever he can. Picking off Immortals or picking off Marauders is always very nice. However, he's still just got a handful of Stalkers and Zealots. He's going to have his +2 armor soon, which is really going to help him out, this tanky Zealots. And there we go, finally. 10 minutes into the game, a Colossus shows up for Harstem. This could be what he needs to turn the tides here. I mean, this isn't too much Terran, so Harstem wins war. Kind of hesitates a little bit, though. That might have been a fatal hesitation there in a sense. And, he is able to clean out most of the Liberators, or actually all the Liberators, pardon me, and force the Terran back, but a little bit of hesitation there in that engagement for Harstem. Stalkers took an extra shot or two. And if you're the Protoss right now, you do need to get up a 4th base. The Terran himself getting up a 4th base, getting up EMP, getting up extra starports here. So Harstem securing this 4th is very important. He's getting out another Colossus. I think a Disruptor next is going to be pretty important for him. Then maybe just like another Gateway or 2 or something. As that seems to be the way Harstem's going. Instead, he's getting up his +3 armor. Quite an expensive upgrade, but will be absolutely worth it if he can get it. Harstem, he's going to have himself a 2-2 lead for a little bit of time. And we all saw how game number 1 went, which Harstem took really on the back of his upgrades. So once again, this game he's having the upgrade lead, and we'll see if that's what it's going to take to win the game here. Okay, I mean, I feel like this series has just been non-stop talking from me. Let's take a look. Nexus on the way at the 4th. Zealot picking off a Marine, just that sort of scouting game across the map. Harstem reinforcing. Oh no, I'm a little bit concerned if Harstem pushes on in. I mean, he's got Colossus and Stalkers, but this could easily be an overcommitment from the Protoss. He's looking to push on in. This is a ton of Marauders. Golden Marauders getting on top, but beautiful force fields there from Harstem. Meanwhile, the Zealot, 2 Zealots running in towards the 3rd base. This is a great move from the Protoss, trying to get on top of any SCVs that he can. Clem does react in time, though, is able to defend versus this. That Ghost picks off that that Zealot, shoots him down. Now, upgrades are equal. Harstem, though, he's getting up to 3 Colossus, kind of the magic number, which Colossus really start to deal critical amounts of damage. Gotta pay attention, though. I mean, Clem, he's building up quite the killer army composition right now. I mean, he's getting up a good count of Vikings here, enough to really counter the Colossus. And then there's Ghost, so while Harstem's reaching out to Psystorm, that's going to be countered easily by the Ghost, so Harstem could be kind of backed into a corner here a little bit. I mean, his High Templar, I think they could just get EMP'd here, honestly. There's Enhanced Shockwave for this Terran army. This could be a scary push coming from Clem. Harstem's got 3 Colossus here. His Stalkers pick off a Viking or 2. Very nicely done. But this is not a good angle here for Harstem, eating very nasty EMPs. I think he's going to have to merge those High Templar and Archon. Stalkers going forward. I mean, the Colossus putting out as much damage as they can. Cannons, more Zealots being warped on in. Can Clem take this fight? Immortals on the high ground putting out as much firepower as they can. But Clem, I still feel, took a pretty good fight there. The EMP was huge. And I think Harstem needed like a disruptor or something there to zone the Terran back. And that was just a very good engagement for Clem. Forced the Protoss into a tough spot. I mean, trying to defend that center base, not an easy thing. And Clem really capitalized on how Harstem was able to be pushed back there. 4 SCVs die to some counter harassment. Meanwhile, more Zealots running towards the 3rd base of the Terran. I mean, the game has stabilized a little bit. Harstem survived, kept his 4th base alive. Very critical this game. He's also getting up to his 3-3, so he will have an upgrade lead for quite a while here. So, but still, I mean, his army really isn't that fantastic. Clem's also scanning, by the way. He's like, no 5th, that's good for me. As Clem himself is getting up an extra command center. And oh, in comes the Terran. This is gonna be that game, which it's dodge the Psystorm, dodge the EMP. Very narrow choke point here for Clem to try and push through, so Psystorm can land there. +3 attack on the way for the Protoss. These High Templar gotta be so careful not to get EMP'd, and frankly, this Terran army is just monstrous at the moment. It's just colossal, the amount of units that Clem's looking to push in. Could just be 1 or 2 good Psystorms, but I don't even think there is any more Psystorm. And oh, the EMPs are huge for Clem. Colossus rolls out just to really die here. I mean, the ground army for Harstem standing pretty strong. Shield batteries, cannons even helping out. And the Archons are very tanky, so it looks like Harstem may be able to push Clem back once again. His immortal backbone standing strong, and even a Psystorm going down as a warning there to push the Terran back. So Harstem is staying alive. His upgrade lead really showing there. I mean, it was just like the 2 armies, just like, you can't see the expression I'm doing with my hand. I'm just like interlocking them right now. It's just like they just merged together in a blob. 5th base potentially going down for Harstem. A very nice cancel there from Clem. Keeping the Protoss pinned, or keeping your opponent pinned on a certain amount of bases in StarCraft 2 is really a way to bring them down. It's very effective. Meanwhile, Liberator harassment going down for Clem. Harstem got eyes on it, though. Very nicely done. Stalkers say no. Leave them alone. Harstem on double Robo, which is great to see. I'd like to see a Disruptor or 2 after these 2 Colossus, though. I mean, they're the only unit that Protoss can make that doesn't really have a direct counter as far as AoE goes. I mean, the EMP, it counters the High Templar. It counters the Archons. And it really counters all Protoss units, but then the Vikings, they counter the Colossus. The Disruptor, though, it doesn't have a hard counter. There's no unit that says, no, your Disruptors are going to be useless. So I'd really like to see a Disruptor or 2 coming out of Harstem. He's got himself a supply lead in this game, a bit of wiggle room. As long as he can scare up this 5th base, I think this game's quite a good position for him. Oh, Clem's looking to come on in. This could be a nasty EMP, though, potentially going down. Ghost stepping forward. 1 High Templar gets hit. Harstem wants to try and bait his opponent into a bad fight. He is going to back up, though. Clem's looking to spill forward. Harstem at a pretty bad angle here. Kind of bogged up on his own army. He's got Zealots coming on in, but they are behind his army. They're not going to be able to buffer. Colossus can put out a lot of damage, though. We'll see if that's going to be enough. One of these Colossus, oh no, misrallied towards the front there. Harstem can't really lose that. I mean, you got to keep him alive, Harstem. He's backing away. That Giraffe runs away. Oh, the recall from Harstem doesn't save it. Oh, no, it doesn't. It must have been half a second away before that recall. You got to give it to Harstem for getting that down, but not in time. Harstem, though, he has secured up a 5th base. It would be good to see him transfer some probes there. If he can afford it, it's going to be tough for him, but you really got to get up like an extra pylon or a few extra pylons to let you know when the Terran's coming for this base, because Harstem can't really afford to have his 5th base cancelled again, because you lose your 5th base, you lose a couple units, and suddenly you can't find yourself replacing them easily at this stage in the game. Harstem, though, for now, just retreating because he's scared of this Protoss army. Clem's looking absolutely monstrous right now. He's starting to build up a very strong Liberator count, but it's nothing too critical right now. But, oh man, the concave that Clem's been fighting, and it's huge. Just the angles he's been forming really have been helping him out. And, oh no, the Protoss comes on in, and Harstem's just backing away right now. He can't save this, and that's going to be a huge loss there. Clem finding that Nexus is a massive victory. Meanwhile, I mean, there's some Zealot counter-harassment, but this is a big commitment here from Harstem. He just lost his 5th base, and all of a sudden he's committing like 800 minerals to a counterattack that isn't killing any workers or anything like that. We're seeing an engagement go down right now. Harstem's trying to hold on. Oh, wait a second. Is this going to go sour for him? I look away for half a second, and Harstem, GG's. Let's just rewind that just to watch that final engagement. Harstem gets chased back there a little bit, yada, yada, yada. We've seen this. I was distracted by that drop for a second. Yeah, Harstem just went for the engagement, but it's one of those situations which is just sort of like a lose-lose. He was on 4 bases, Clem was on 5. Then that was just, yeah, GG. Very well done by Clem. Harstem, not able to take that game. He is building a Dark Shrine. I would have liked a Disruptor or two earlier. Of course, it's tough to say because he would have had to give something up to make that Disruptor. But they really hesitate, the Terran army. Because now Terrans, now that they get Ghosts, and Ghosts are good, that, much better anyway, that they can really just push forward, and the High Templar have to be pushed back, whereas in the past it would almost seem like the Terran would be pushed back, as far as the High Templar versus Ghost battle goes. 4th game here, we are loading on in. Make sure to press that like button, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Let's load on into Disco Bloodbath. Who doesn't love a Disco Bloodbath? What a ridiculous map name. What a ridiculous map name. Anyway, here we are. Map number 4. I mean, I really like the way... I know I haven't said, a ton about how Clem's been playing specifically. I feel like that's because it's really about the Protoss dictating the TvP. And also, Clem's just been playing pretty straight up, pretty darn well. Whereas Harstem, he's the one kind of making the unique tweaks and whatnot. And, yeah. And since he was mainly on the defensive this series so far, maybe he'll turn it around, though. Maybe we'll see, something dirty. Where's the max packs? I'm waiting to see a pro try max packs or something. I want it. Gateway on the way here for Harstem. Probe crossing the map. Just wanting to see what that Terran is up to. Meanwhile, Clem just playing pretty normally. I mean, 2 bases on Disco Bloodbath. Pretty easy to defend. Going for your 3rd, you can definitely be vulnerable to a timing attack or something like that. I mean, it's a pretty large map, though. We could have ourselves another macro game here. Or like a tank push or something. You never know. Probe comes on in. Gonna be a pain. Tases that SCV particle beam. SCV gonna go in and scout Harstem's base. Both these guys have been very respectful this series, by the way. Just making sure that there's no crazy cheese or anything. Forgive me, having a drink. Lots of commentating, lots of talking, lots of everything lately. depths. Trying to chase down that Reaper. Oh, nice jukes there by Clem. Nothing really significant though. But I mean, Clem did get on in. What did he see? And he did see the Robo, so he knows that Harstem's opening with a Robo first. Stalker now for Harstem. Meanwhile, Clem going for Widow Mines and Marines. I wouldn't be surprised to see another mine drop. That really seems to be a staple of this player. Reaper driving around. The Adept says, "You shall not pass," and the Reaper says, "Fine, I'll hang out over at your 4th base, or 3rd base. 3rd base. This is the 4th base. Oh, this could be a dead Reaper here. Oh, yeah, that Adept Shade is going to get him. Oh, nice dodge, or nice attempted grenade from Clem. You got to give him an A+ for effort, but in the end, the Reaper not escaping. Clem tries to do the sick dodge. Instead, the Reaper dies. Sound of Marines shooting rocks. The Observer is going to go over him and be like, "Hey, what do you guys have against these rocks?" Clem's Widow Mine drop's going to be moving in towards Harstem's natural. Oh, this could be a little dicey here. Yeah, let's take a look. Widow Mine drop moving on in. There's no units in position for Harstem. I mean, of course, all it takes is a good probe split, and an Observer has seen this. One Stalker gets warped on in for Harstem, and more Stalkers, more units coming on in. Widow Mines are going to drop immediately. Immediate pull from Harstem. Nicely done. One Stalker going to take a mine hit for the team. Another one moves forward. That's actually nice for the Terran player, getting those Stalkers. Keep in mind, when I say it's nice, that's because it is. And oh, Clem going for another Widow Mine drop here. And you may be like, why is it nice? He didn't kill any probes. I see Widow Mine drops killing probes all the time. If you have the choice between one probe and a Stalker, probably worth it to go for the Stalker. I mean, they take gateway build time, or they take warp gate cooldowns. And then they're also a lot more expensive than a Widow Mine. Stalker or Widow Mines are very, very cheap units, so anything that they almost kill of a Protoss unit is always worth it. This Widow Mine drop feeling a little bit trapped. Once again, though, we could just see Clem wait for the prime opportunity. Harstem, who opened a Robo first, is going for a very quick Colossus. This is the first time we've really seen him rush Colossus in this series, I feel, which is neat to see. A 3rd base on the way for Clem. Meanwhile, he's at 3 barracks for now, so he is going to be looking for some kind of push versus his opponent. Clem going for yet another Widow Mine drop as well. He's got another one queued up here. This could be where it becomes very hot and fast here for Harstem to deal with. He's going to have to be on point with his defense. There's going to be a Widow Mine drop moving on in. A push coming towards the 3rd base. I'm willing to bet that Harstem is going to need to move some of his units out. And the second that he does, the Widow Mine drop is going to move in towards his natural. Is he paying attention? Yes, Harstem is. There's going to be another Widow Mine drop moving towards his main base. Is he paying attention? The mines at the natural so far haven't found anything, but then the push at the 4th base, going to be looking to pull his opponent completely out of position. So far, only 5 probes have gone down, but oh, the Nexus is really under fire here. I think Harstem should be able to save this, but oh no, a Colossus is going to be getting focused down, and it does fall. Another Colossus not able to be saved by the shield battery as it was unpowered. Oh, this is massive damage getting done by Clem. Is Harstem just going to die here? I mean, he defended the Widow Mine drops, but then Clem filed enough. Okay, GG. Just like that, Clem able to take the 3-1 victory. Beautiful game there. Just showing really how the Protoss race can just be picked apart by Terrans. Widow Mine, all it takes is Widow Mine drop, big old bio push at the front door. Clem with a very nice attack. Harstem, that was close. I mean, if he had that shield battery up, or something. I don't know. That was just, let's take a look here. What did Harstem have? That one Colossus was just not defended. He didn't get off any sentry force field. Maybe he had force fielded or even got off a Guardian shield. That could have been enough. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this commentary, feel free to let me know by pressing that like button. Once again, I'll say, press that bell icon if you're subscribed, or if you aren't subscribed, subscribe and then press that bell icon. It lets you, it just gives you like a little red dot, a little red notification every time I put up a video. And you'll be like, oh, look at that. It's basically your Starcraft notification. So if you enjoy Starcraft, you enjoy the commentary, press that button. Let's try and raise those metrics. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, morning, wherever you are. This has been LaughNgamez. I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.